Whether you've been with us here on GG's Live for the entirety of the 15 hours, whether you've been in and out, or whether you're just joining us, thanks for coming along. We've had quite a ride so far.
And for the last two groups, shame on you. We've been here all day long. You've had plenty of time to watch all of us. Oh man, let's take a look at these decks here. Alan Comer's deck is like more or less mono blue. Oh my goodness.
So Owen Turtenwald has dropped one of his major black threats.
Let's see.
That, of course, being Pack Rat.
Oh my goodness.
Marshall and I were just talking about it. As close to a single card strategy as anything gets in this format. And if Comer, if Comer can't kill it, can't kill them both now, he's already in a world of hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, Owen's playing a scavenge-based deck, and normally one of the big issues between actually getting to use scavenge in this kind of situation is the fact that like the mana requirements are just so large. When you've got an 0-3 that taps for 3 mana in play, it makes the scavenge possible. It also makes plays like this possible.
Where Owen makes 2 more Pack Rats.
In the process, discarding a Goliath into his graveyard that he actually has access to the mana to scavenge back at some point, should he so choose.
Comer coming back with the Rune Wing. I mean, he's really got to feel himself up against it already.
Yeah. Congratulations, you stopped a single Pack Rat, but stopping the other one is
the other 3.
Yeah.
And remember that one that's not doing anything, he still counts.
Yeah. And the other ones can still use their abilities. Yeah.
One of those Pack Rats is ginormous.
One of those Pack Rats is a little too big.
Right.
Zorius Charm sent it away.
Yeah.
Or is that Celestian Charm?
Zorius Charm.
Zorius Charm, yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, no green for
green mana.
Alan Comer. No.
Goodness me.
All right. Currently doesn't look like Turtenwald has the mana to make any rats. He only has 1 swamp up.
Yeah, not left over. He's going to have to be content to attack for 6 instead of attacking for 8.
But Comer, with his flyers, gets in there. So he's dropped Turtenwald to 10. So pretty much the race is on.
Yeah, Turtenwald has the capability of attacking for 10 damage right here. The combination of Axebane Guardian and the lands that he has in play let him discard 2 cards to make 2 new rats. That Axebane Guardian is doing work for him right now. 3 defenders in play means 3 mana every time he taps that guy. Such an advantage. Chooses instead to just go for 6 here, having Comer's life total. What are we going to have here for a little post-combat shenanigans? And there we saw, like Centaur Healer, just that tiny smidgen of life gain totally changes the complexion of combat. But was that a syncopate up
It looks
there?
like a syncopate.
So much for that.
Nonetheless, Alan Comer down to 6.
Facing the prospect of 3 attacking Pack Rats on the next
Here he comes.
Yeah, rats on the next turn.
In takes Turtenwald to 6. Once again, single-digit life totals. It's something we've seen all day, where the matches have come down to very likely just one turn.
Yeah, exactly. Like these have been terribly, terribly close matches.
Or even half a turn.
Yeah.
All right, so 3 Pack Rats. Here they come.
What have you?
If you don't have a trick to take out 2 of them,
yes,
you're dead. Yep, going to game 2. We already have a result. Merchant has taken game 1 from Eric Frolic. Efro playing that Rakdos deck, it either wins fast or lose fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's the marquee example of. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me the slightest Merchant was playing.
And we're gonna
I've got their list right here, don't I? So.
Yep, we're gonna switch ourselves over to the Conley Woods Lurs match.
Yes, and obviously Merchant is in fact playing Rakdos himself. So.
Great. So Chris Lurs on the right, Conley Woods on your left, and we've got a choked board. We've seen Conley play already this weekend. 3 or 4 colors over there.
Yeah, it definitely has like I mean, it's a slower, mid-rangey, ordering on possibly control deck. I mean, it's primarily blue-red. It definitely it looks like it's splashing white primarily.
He's got the key. He's got the key rune. He has the Lobber Crew. He's got the Rune Wing.
Yeah. On the other side of the table, we're looking at.
He's got the Sky. That's not. No, I'm sorry. That's not the Sky. Sorry, that's
the Rock.
The Rock.
And
which
his millions.
The Rock, the Rock, which keeps token decks in, pretty well controlled.
Some of them, like it's.
There's the Beetle from Chris Lurs. Playing the Selesnya deck.
Yeah, like the one advantage is if Lurs gets up to populating Centaurs, like the Rock actually, I mean, it hits creatures with a toughness of 2 or less. So I mean, against the Knights and the Birds, it makes them disappear forever. But Centaurs are
a little more of an issue.
Yeah, and it looked like at the time the only 2 toughness creatures that Lurs had were the Defender that could possibly search him up additional lands and his Justiciar, which that does not seem like a positive creature to return.
No, you don't want that guy coming back down and detaining somebody else.
Yeah. Pardon me, sir, but I'm going to have to ask you to stand aside. All right. And Conley's got a detainee of his own getting ready to stop.
Skywatch.
Yep. Stopping that.
Esperia's Skywatch.
Nice giant spider. Can't block creatures anymore. At least not for this turn. Yeah, it looked like despite the fact that he was at least lower early in the match, his Air Force is pretty spectacular at this point.
Yep, and don't forget he's got that key rune up top.
Yeah. On the backside, just in case it's absolutely necessary.
All right, so life total's at 9. Lurs untaps. Gets into, we didn't see the draw. Remember, Lurs has the Indrik that can block the flyers. But that is currently it.
Yeah, and it can now. It was not able to on the previous turn thanks to that Turtain. But, making it a little bit bigger, picking up the token at the same time. That token is not terribly long for this world since the good old
the rock can take care of it.
Right? Taking care of it. But at the same time, I would imagine he's probably a little more leery about attacking into that 4/6 defending creature.
Right. Looks like Conley had already worked this combat out and has figured out his blocks.
Even with the added wrinkle of the power and toughness.
Yep. So he takes 6. Lobber Crew's Lurs down to 8.
What we're looking at here. So is that enough flying damage? I mean, he's probably what, an inaction injunction or some. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, bouncy.
Yep.
Void Wielder.
And there it is.
That'll do it.
Game 1 to Conley Woods over Chris Lurs. And we're going to go over to the Frolic Merchant match where we saw a fast game 1.
I mean, Reckless Abandon.
There's Samir Merchant on the right. There's Eric Frolic on the left. There's Stab Wound.
They're going to be
They're a bunch of unleashed guys.
Yeah, a very large number of creatures in this match are not going to be able to block. I guarantee that. So we have a Chain Walker and a little Devil Man, Rakdos Cackler.
Now this Labra crew for Ifro is doing some defense work.
The number of times Labra Crew is going to be one of those cards. It might be the most named card of the weekend by the time that we're done, but there's a reason for that.
Oh, just pay the ultimate price though.
I need royalties from that.
Yeah.
And both players with creatures that are actually pretty solid in this matchup, and both of them were removed. The Labra Crew is definitely a good one, and then we saw Mr. Wacky Wacky First Strike guy that Merchant brought down without unleashing it, leaving it still leashed. Splatter Thug. I should learn that guy's real name. It's a really awesome name for it. The Rakdos guys get the best names. Like other than
Splatter Thug is pretty good.
Other than an Action Injunction, like the Rakdos guys have sweet names.
I'm not quite as taken with that name as you are. It's cumbersome. It's.
I'm sorry. I love Schoolhouse Rock a little too much.
It's not flowy.
Inaction Injunction?
You stumble over when you say it.
That's because I just want to say Conjunction Junction every time I hear that name.
What is your function?
Oh, man.
All right. Merchant going into the red zone, which is what his deck does.
Huh. Awkward. There's so much money being paid here. So many ultimate prices.
How many does Ifro have in his deck?
Let's see. I would guess 2. Ultimate price.
Yeah,
single ultimate price.
A third one would be.
Yeah, was that a stab wound that killed the first time around? I bet it was a stab wound that killed the first one around. Yeah. And now we see a 2-1 Swamp Walking Sua Shambler. Pretty strong in this matchup, if you ask me.
Well, I mean, nobody's blocking anyway, right?
True. I suppose that's true. Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's coming out of the sideboard. That card is main deck all the way. Significantly stronger in the Rakdos versus Golgari matchup than in the Rakdos versus Rakdos matchup.
Sure.
Although when your opponent does have a Labra Crew on their side, we found the situation.
Yes.
Solve the Rosewater puzzle.
All right, Merchant just plays a Swamp and says go after his attacks. Frolic at 7, Merchant at 8.
Looks to me like is Merchant holding on to a Street Spasm? Sure. Thought that might be what I saw. But it could also be a Vandal Blast.
Check his deck list.
That doesn't make any sense. Street Spasm, let's go.
Yeah, Vandal Blast doesn't seem like a card.
Yeah, single Street Spasm. Yeah, he got 1 Street Spasm, so.
Ifro doing some math. Remember, he's down a game already. And if Merchant has any trick here, it's lights out for Eric Frolic.
Likely. Go. Huh. Yeah, that's a good card right there. Traitorous Instinct.
Can I have your guy?
Can I make him stronger? Can I attack you with him?
All right. Merchant says, hang on. It's got to be a thought to killing his own guy, which is just fine.
Yeah.
In Ifro's book.
Decisions like this are great.
Not when you have to make them.
No. I mean, like the fact that you can do something like that makes me kind of happy. Like the fact that he has to is a little bit worse, but it's interesting. Merchant's got a launch party, but it's hanging out in his sideboard, not in his main deck. So.
Really?
Yes, sir. Interesting. It seems like one of those cards that's pretty solid because Rakdos, it likes dealing damage to your opponent, and your guys will at some point invariably hit a snag when your opponent puts up some bigger dudes. Gives it to him?
Yep, he sure does.
Oh, moment of truth. What have we, sir?
He's got to block one of them.
Yeah. You take 6 and keep your lobber crew around. Do you block the bigger guy?
Oh, he's got
shoot somebody.
He's got a trick.
Yeah. He's got that street spasm, which he has to use to kill off the
Swamp Walker.
Yeah, Swamp Walker. Let's handle that first. Yeah, so he's going to take 4 and keep his creature alive.
And then get his guy back.
Mad respect for the lobber crew. Don't want to see that guy die. Alright, so that will put Mr. Frolic down to 4, I believe. And again, my new buddy Splatter Thug comes down unleashed this time.
Completely leashed.
Got to rein in that aggression there. That first strike is useful on the defense.
All right, both players at 4. So 2 things in defense for Eric Frolic. He scavenges the sewer guy.
I mean, at this point, the decision is made. Are you going to ride the fact that... I mean, regardless, between the 2 creatures, you've got 2 points of damage. Like, your lobber crew and your Splatter Thug. But he could potentially get more damage out of that crew should the situation arise where the game would go an extra turn. Plus, he can get that damage in and save it to block just in case he has the opportunity to.
Smear doing some counting.
Probably doesn't have any cards in hand either. I don't. Oh yeah, there.
Yeah, he does.
They're just hiding.
Yeah, Launch Party doesn't do him much good.
No. Well, yes.
Oh, whoop, whoop, whoop. Smear getting some advice and not taking it. I got this, he says. Oh, there is a Launch Party.
Yep. Launch Party, everyone's invited. All the artwork on that card is just a bald dude with a rocket pack. Well, except for it's not a rocket pack.
All right, Ifro down to a draw. Don't think he liked it.
But he also hasn't immediately picked up his cards. He's not one to slow roll people. In this situation.
Right.
And we has found ourselves. Is it a spawn of Rick's Muddy?
Which didn't last too long.
No. Again, but that's is that an assassin strike?
Annihilating Fire off the top for the win.
That's how you play Magic, boys.
Right.
Boys and girls.
you go right down to the last second.
Yeah.
And you just burn your opponent out.
Yep.
Of course, that's what the Rakdos deck does. So, Frolic Merchant tied at 1-1. Turtenwald Comer tied at 1-1. We are going to Turtenwald Comer, Game 3.
So cool. That Annihilating Fire wouldn't have killed him if he hadn't killed that creature off the Launch Party.
That's right.
Yep.
All right, we're just underway here with Alan Comer and Owen Turtenwald. And we've got early action.
And early inaction as well. Wow. Thank you. Appreciate the setup. Unintentional. Alright, so we're looking right there. Is that our, is that the monitor man, as I'm calling him? Cordoza monitor? Yeah, sweet.
And of course the doorkeeper.
Yep.
And then the harbor guard.
So many walls.
Harbor barrier.
So many walls. I mean, it's not like Turtenwald's playing 3/3s, and
they don't get through.
No. But then again, flyers don't get to stick around too terribly long when you get some aerial predation to keep them out of the way. And I'd say an 06 is definitely a reasonable creature for Turtenwald's aggressive deck to get rid of.
So Civic Saber, an equipment we haven't seen all day. Cost 1, equips for 1, and the equipped creature gets +1/+0 for each of its colors.
Very powerful card.
There's the Rune Wing, and it gets equipped.
Turning it into a 3/2 flyer that has the upside of giving you a card to replace it should it die.
Still in game 2 over there in the Woods Lures match. Frolic Merchant going to game 3.
Paid the ultimate price.
And drawn a card.
I like draw a card.
Doorkeeper blocks on the attack, and that's the Crocodile.
That card is so good. Like, we talked about lifelink and close matches like the entire time. Like, if that card hits you twice, it's really hard to like come back in most games in that situation. I mean,
looks like Comer's about to cast Frostburn Weird.
That guy gets large and in charge with that that sword there. 2 mana for a 3/4 creature is acceptable, I would say.
Yeah, can't see why he's not equipping it. Yeah, there you go. Equip that right up.
With a flourish. And he's holding on to a syncopate with a couple mana up. Is that a Hussar in his hand as well, I want to say?
So the Crocodile, the Crocodile is pretty much being neutralized by the Frostburn Weird.
Yeah. Turtenwald's entire team of, I would say his entire team of superior creatures, but that Weird is pretty massive. I mean, he's got a bunch of giant dudes and he cannot attack.
Get through. He cast Trestle Troll. But that's not really the aggression that he needs.
No.
Since it has Defender.
Yeah, I mean, especially because Comer's not attacking with that guy anytime in the near future.
There's Towering Indrik for Owen Turtenwald.
Looks like we are going to be seeing another one of those awesome combat fights.
Yeah. But it gets syncopated.
And Comer's deck has a reasonable number of flyers in it. It does make sense. I mean, he's playing.
Yeah, he's sort of snap called that counterspell, so
yeah,
he's got to know his path to winning this game is through the air.
Yeah. I mean, he does have an option of milling his opponent out with Doorkeeper, except for I think his only other defender in the entire deck is currently sitting in his graveyard.
But he hasn't.
No, I mean it's an 0/4 for 2. Like that guy, that's what that guy does. He has a magic number for a toughness, and he comes down on the second turn. That's what you need. I mean, it's one of the other major reasons that Turtenwald just hasn't really gotten through.
Goes in front of the Centaur. The wall goes in front of the Centaur. But Comer's is not activating the Doorkeeper.
No, there's no real reason to. I mean, especially his opponent's playing swamps. Like he doesn't want. I don't think he wants to give an opportunity to scavenge.
Fair.
It's like giving your opponent a chance to draw cards, basically. Is that a second predation? Second aerial predation? Yeah, Owen does have a pair of them in his sideboard, so.
What did you get back?
Nope. And he brought back a launch party.
Yeah.
We can do this all over again. There's no such thing as too many parties. Would imagine that Frostburn Weird is probably going to actually bite the dust this time instead of being rescued at the last second. Alright, that Vassal Soul is going to get hit with a second copy of Aerial Predation and knocking it out of the sky.
So, punch, counterpunch.
Yeah.
Punch and counterpunch. There's the Dredge Beetle.
And another healer.
And another healer. So,
Jeebus.
Woods up to 30. Alan Comer 13. Long road.
Yeah, it's not like Turtenwald has effectively an entire starting life total advantage on him right now. And more creatures on the table.
Yeah, good point on Comer not choosing to use the doorkeeper to mill, because those scavenge cards could get, you know, just like put them on the crocodile.
Yeah.
And suddenly it really is lights out.
Yeah.
There's Gatecreeper Vine.
Perfect. Now he's got a creature that he might actually want to go ahead and sacrifice to get rid of with that launch party. I choose you, weird guy.
Another counterspell.
Oh my. Have ourselves a cancel to stop that. One of two that potentially are in the deck.
So let me 2-for-1 you here.
Yeah. Well, 1-for-1ing, because he did get to go through and get that land. So.
Ah, fair.
Yeah. Cheerly in cards.
All right, Turtenwald's hand is empty here. Comer has 2 cards. And going into the tank.
My oh my. This is certainly like an interesting position for Owen. Like, he might find himself get to the point in the very near future where he starts suiciding in his 2 creatures with scavenge so that he can put those counters on something large and get it big enough to pass through that weird there. The downside to that is whatever he scavenges onto will still not be big enough for the most part. I think
there he goes.
Yeah, if he puts the Alan almost has to consider, I was going to say, blocking the other way around, because putting 3+1/+1 counters on one of the Centaur healers does make them big enough to get past that weird without trading. There's a Tower Drake, which is 4 planes in play currently for Alan, so it's got a potential 5 toughness where all lands untapped. Takes advantage of the free skies to shock Owen down to 28 with the little ferryman.
Didn't get a look at what Turtenwald drew right there.
He's very secretive. Wants to keep his secrets.
Remind you that both of these teams are already into day 2. Now they're just sort of playing for position.
Yeah.
They're both in the XN1 bracket with 27 points. The Comer team a little higher up the tiebreaker bracket, but that's...
It's the 7th mana needed to scavenge that up. So those counters are going to go on...
Clever play from Owen Turtenwald. Gonna put him on the Beetle.
And Comer has the perfect removal spell to take care of that card. Something that keeps it in play and nullifies it.
And
Paralyzing Grasp.
Can't attack. So now he's coming back through the air.
Alright. He's starting to go on the offensive. He's past that inflection point that you've got to get to with the control deck, apparently, at least in his mind. He is at 8. He is still at 8. But Owen has nothing.
There goes the saber on the ferry.
We're playing the equipment dance now.
Dropping Turtenwald to 19.
Oh my, a second monitor. That could be problematic.
Although that game seemed like there was no action. Especially because if he plays any creature but lava.
He's going to find himself an opportunity. Oh wow, I think that is a Bluster Squall. That is very, very... I mean, that's lethal on the next turn, isn't it? Well, I guess if he didn't... If he attacked... If he had... Let's see, he's got another Vassal Soul.
Yeah.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Bluster Squall.
No, it's not lethal yet. It's lethal in one more turn, though.
But I'll tell you, this match doesn't matter. Conley Woods has taken his match 2-0 over Christian Luers, and with the Frolic 2-1 victory over Merchant.
But it matters to me. I want to see how.
Well,
this
it matters. It matters to our legion of fans that are watching on GD's Live, because like you, they want to see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, we're so invested in this already.
Right.
Like,
well, that Bluster Squall is gonna change it.
oh yeah, oh wow. And
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't play another.
this deck has got a lot of good cards against the scavenge decks.
I mean, the thing is, I was gonna ping you at the end.
The
Ping you in the beginning of my turn.
all right, so we're getting in with some flyers. Do what we can, and then
During his combat step, he's gonna tap everybody.
tap your guys, and then on next turn we swing for lethal. So that is.
All right, this two guys just love playing Magic. I mean, because they have to know the result
Oh yeah, yeah.
over here.
I mean, they're competitive Magic players. Like, no one wants to stop a game in progress. Like, yeah, your team might have lost the match, but I'm winning this game.
I'm right.
I'm gonna win this match myself. Hold on. Those guys, that's happening, but it's happening under my rules.
Go.
Yep, that will stop the weird.
So
at
big
least.
comeback. I mean, super big comeback in the game from Alan Comer.
Yep. I mean, it's not lethal right now. Like, having a blocker on his side is giving him exactly enough. I mean, that stops the weird, so he can't get that 1 more points of damage. But there's the bounce spell.
There's the handshake. So Woods Frolic Turtenwald takes down Luer's Merchant Comer, 2-1. Welcome back into the booth. I'm Sheldon Menery alongside a tired but resolute Nate Price. We've covered 11 rounds of Magic today, all of them sizzling.
Yeah, I'm not tired in the slide. You know what? I want to draft.
You're right.
I want to draft.
If you've been with us since the beginning, it's currently 12:33 local time. That's 3:30 on the East Coast. So if you've been watching this whole time, you're a trooper. I mean, I know there's a lot of Magic players that are still up at this hour.
Yeah.
So we're there. We're going to be back on the air tomorrow morning right around 10 a.m. for the first of the draft rounds. We'll have all the coverage of all day 2. But for now, Sheldon Menery for Nate Price, Steve Sadin, Rich Hagon, and of course Rashad Miller saying goodnight.